YouTube, today we got parents who took revenge on child. Shout out Crime Dynasty, man. This is recommended to me, bro, and I'm already knowing this one finna be a banger, man. Let's see what these parents did to these ditties.
2005. Maria del Carmen Garcia was waiting for the bus when the man who had violated her daughter smirked and asked, "How's your daughter?"
Smirked?
That's when she decided to take her revenge.
Alright, yo, you already asking for it, bro. I wish I would. Wow, what? Boy, you done touched my daughter, bro. You gonna look me in the face, smirk, ask me how she is, boy. What did you say? I'm come on up with your ass. What is you doing?
In the most shocking way ever, by setting him on
And them just
fire.
the melees. I ain't even getting into the weapon
Who took
combos.
revenge too far.
Uh-oh.
Number 10. Gary Plauche.
Oh, we got a dad. I'm not sure that's the dad or that's the abuser.
March 16th.
Whoa, stop. Wait, y'all trying to stop him? Gary won't stop. What? Y'all trying to... What? Wait, hold on. I got to find out who Gary is first. I'm not sure if that's the dad or not. Stop him is crazy.
March 16th, 1984, disguised with a baseball cap and sunglasses, Gary Plauche waited anxiously at the airport, his hand constantly checking that gun in his pocket.
Oh.
And the second he saw the police escorting the man who
muffin
had
cap
kidnapped
back
and assaulted his
What?
son out of the airport, he pulled that gun out.
Wait,
and
what
the
happened?
man who had kidnapped and assaulted his son out of the airport,
Oh,
he
nah.
pulled that gun
Oh,
out
yeah,
and
he deserved
shot
whatever
him
coming
in
to
the
him.
head.
Oh!
Hammers. Before all this unfolded, Gary
Oh!
led a pretty
Oh
ordinary
my
life with
goodness!
a small yet content family.
Blew
He
his
worked as an
brains
equipment salesman
apart.
and also doubled as a cameraman for a local news station. Then one day, everything changed. February 19th, 1984, Gary's son, Jody, was on his way to routine karate practice when his instructor, Jeff Doucet, offered to take him for a quick
Doucet?
ride.
Oh, nah.
Jody's mom, June,
Oh,
didn't
nah.
think twice about it. After all, Doucet was a trusted community member and had
Dang.
been teaching karate to their kids for a while.
Not the
But what
karate
June didn't
teacher,
know
bro.
is Doucet had ulterior motives. Instead of a short joyride, he took Jody on a bus to the West Coast. Along the way, Doucet decided to change their appearances. He would
What?
shave his beard and dye Jody's blonde hair black, hoping
What?
to deceive anyone looking for him.
Wait. So does he know? Wait. Does the kid know he's getting kidnapped? Or did the kid think he was just finna go get like a new haircut? Cause whoa. I'm going with my karate instructor and all of a sudden my hair getting dyed, he cutting his beard. I'm probably not gonna know what's going on. I don't know the age of the son. But in my head, I'm like, yo, something ain't right. You feel me? Like,
They ended up in a rundown motel near Disneyland in Anaheim, California. And inside that
Disney?
motel room, Doucet did something
oh
absolutely
my
sickening.
goodness.
He took advantage of poor Jody, his own
Oh
student.
my goodness.
Now just try to put yourself in Jody's shoes. Despite
yo.
that, the kid found the guts to ask Doucet if he could call his parents. And surprisingly, Doucet actually let him. Jody's
What?
parents wasted no time and immediately alerted the police.
What?
They traced the call and
They
managed to
wait,
apprehend
he
Doucet.
what?
Meanwhile, Jody was put on a flight back home to Louisiana, finally safe from his captor. Now, despite finding his
That's even kind of crazier though, cause it's like he did what he did to him, then you send him home. It's like, I don't, yo, that's like you would think he would kind of hold him hostage a little bit, maybe try to like I don't know get like I don't know some money to give him back, like kind of like what they y'all know how they be doing in them crime movies, you know where they hold somebody hostage, they try to get as much money, but he just wanted to do what he did and just sent him back. Like both ways is crazy, but that's like
his son
yo.
Gary here couldn't shake off the rage he was feeling. He spent the next few days held up in a local bar, asking anyone when Doucet was going to be brought back to Louisiana for trial. By sheer luck, a former WBRZ news colleague was there and told Gary that Doucet would be flown in at 9:08 a.m. the following day.
W
He
employee.
immediately started making arrangements to confront this person. Disguised with a baseball cap and sunglasses, he entered the arrivals hall, concealing his face. He noticed the WBRZ crew preparing their cameras to
It's about to go down!
Doucet would be escorted off the plane by a
Hold on, we gotta see if he got aim assist though.
As Doucet was taken through the airport, he passed that news crew who were taping the scene. He would walk right past Plauche, who took out his handgun and fired at the right side of his head point blank.
4K. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Yo, bro. I feel like any parent in this situation, bro, it just be it be like this, bro. You gotta really look at it, bro, because at the same time, it's kind of like he took a W, but he took an L. Because it's like, all right, twin, you got back for your son, but now it's like, gang, you just committed murder, and it's not even the murder don't even make it bad, bro. Now you're getting life in prison. It's like now you won't be able to see your son unless it's behind bars. In the moment, I understand. It feel like it's worth it. But twin, all you had to do was just send you some goons. You never supposed to do this type of crime yourself. You supposed to send in the goons, bruh, and let them come find you. Twin, come on, gang. You know the dirt dude, murder for hire. Twin, come on now.
Tank range.
Bro, you shouldn't have done it yourself, game. I know it probably felt
capture
good in the
that chilling
moment, but it wouldn't work.
on camera. And that footage has now received over 20 million views on
YouTube. Wait, chat, should we watch this?
On camera. And that footage has...
I mean, it's probably, I ain't gonna lie, we can't watch this. All right. It's probably too graphic, man, but if y'all want to go see it, y'all see the video title, man. That looks, yeah. Victim's father shoots attacker. HD. Yo, death in HD is insane.
It's now received over 20 million views on YouTube. In the video, we see Duce suddenly collapsing while a police officer tackles Plauche against the wall. Amidst the chaos, the officer, who happened to be friends with Plauche, yelled at him, urging him to explain what he just did. Through tears.
Explain! We all know why and understand!
Gary was given a 7-year suspended sentence, with 5 years probation and 300 hours of commute. 7 years suspended sentence.
Wait. He didn't go to jail? Wait, he didn't get life?
Gary was given a 7-year suspended sentence, with 5 years probation and 300 hours of community service, receiving no time in prison.
Oh! Hey, Gary, twin, my fault. Hey, I was not familiar with your game. Whole time I'm thinking, bro, murder, broad daylight, and I'm thinking you gonna get life in prison. I mean, hey, you know better than me, Gary. Shout out to Gary.
Number 9. Barry Gilton and Gilton-Mercado. July 2012, Barry and his partner Lupe were faced with a parent's worst nightmare. Their daughter Letitia was being abused by a pimp named Calvin Sneed.
Oh, nah.
Letitia moved to LA at 17 and became involved with Sneed, who initially pretended to be in a romantic relationship with her. However, he soon resorted to threats and violence to keep her trapped in the world of prostitution. Barry and Lupe were devastated when they discovered the horrifying truth about what Sneed had done to their daughter. They tried to convince Letitia to return home to San Francisco, but she refused to leave Sneed's clutches. Frustrated and fearing for their daughter's safety, Barry made a life-altering decision. He reached out to his cousin, Antonio Gilton, and his friend, Alfonso Williams, both members of the Central Divisadero Players, or CDP, a prominent gang in the district. He sought their help to eliminate Sneed once and for all. June 4th, 2012. Sneed was on his way back to pick up Letitia. Out of nowhere, an SUV pulled up next to his car, and the people inside were armed with at least 2 guns. Chaos ensued when they started unloading at his car, causing Sneed to lose control of the Corolla and crash into this parked car. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Gilton and Williams were sentenced to 22 and 25 years in prison.
Chat, y'all let me know. The 25 years worth it, bro. They didn't get as lucky as Gary.
Barry and Lupe were also arrested and charged with murder.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen to old dude in the first one.
Conspiracy. Now, their story continues to serve as a powerful reminder that there are no limits to what a parent will do to ensure their child's safety. And the next parent on our list wholeheartedly agrees with this. Number 8. Sarah Sands.
Oh, we got a mom this time.
This is 32-year-old Sarah Sands.
Uh-oh.
In a few moments' time, she will stab a man to death.
Y'all know mamas don't play, boy. Neither do dads, but Ma Duke's a little different.
November 28th, 2014. Sarah grabbed a knife and stabbed her neighbor 8 times in Canning.
Whoa!
What led her to commit that drastic act? Well, it turns out
that
her neighbor had a quite dark past. He had 24 previous convictions for...
What?
Wait. What
How is he still free?
Michael Plauche had a quite dark past. He had 24
How is he still walking? Free man. 24? 24?
previous convictions.
Convictions is crazy, bro.
Over 3 decades. Now, he had served time in prison for those heinous crimes, but that's not all. He was also abusing Sarah's own son. Now, for quite some time, Sarah had no reason not to trust her older neighbor, who she enjoyed chatting to and cooking meals for.
Of course.
And thought it'd be a good way for one of her sons to earn some pocket money.
She must have not known, bruh. It's no way I'm letting my son, daughter, nephew, niece, anybody, even if they was older and of age, go near Herbert. Y'all know Herbert from Family Guy, bro? That's exactly what this dude remind me of, bro. Like, I'm not letting him go near his crib.
Michael offered her young boy
That's
a
off
job in his
limits.
shop. But everything changed when she found out that Plauche had been accused of molesting 2 boys and was on bail awaiting trial. Police were investigating a further allegation that he had abused a 3rd boy.
Bro.
So after more digging, Sarah also found out
What
Mike
is
changed
up
his name
with this
from Robin
grandpa?
Molt to cover up those previous crimes, which
He
were a
really
string of
look like- bro, wait,
convictions
hold
from
on,
Robin
gang.
Molt.
Bro, look at this. All right, look at him. Hold on, let me pull up. Bro, he dead, bro, like identical, gang. Hold on, gang. Bro, this is him. Gang. Why do they look so identical? Hold on. Let me show y'all, bro. Bro, boom. Bro. Gang. Bro, is this who it was based off of, bro? This is crazy work, bro. Bro, this is literally Herbert, gang. This is literally Herbert. Yo, this is insane work. Insane work, man. Insane work.
To cover up those previous crimes, which were a string of convictions for sexually assaulting boys between 1970 and 1991.
And he been doing this since the 70s?
He also served time ranging from 9 months to 6 years. And before the fresh allegations emerged, Michael had become a well-known community member, running a bric-a-brac shop.
Bric-a-brac, what that
When
is?
Sarah found out about this, she was terrified that he had harmed her son. However, when she asked him if anything had happened, he denied it, of course. Unfortunately, that denial didn't last for long. November 2014, her son broke down and admitted that he had been
and I feel you, bro, because as a man, bro, even I guess as a boy, bro, it's like, you don't really ever want to admit that another dude did that, especially as a straight man. You feel me? You don't ever want to admit that somebody did that to you. Shout out to him for being brave and, hey, bro, just stepping up and being like, yo, man, this happened to me.
Used. Sarah was horrified and decided to confront Michael. Later at her trial, Sarah sobbed in the witness box, as she insisted she didn't mean to hurt Plauche when she went to his apartment on that night of the killing after drinking a bottle of brandy. She told jurors that she had gone to reason with him so he can admit to his crimes and spare his young accusers from having to go to court. But when Michael answered the door, he ignored her request and just smirked, as he told her the boys were all liars who had ruined his life.
Crazy.
That's when she snapped, stabbing him 8 times. After realizing what she had done, she called
Not
the police
enough.
and turned herself in.
But at least minimum 24. But I need a minimum 24. Go ahead and times that by 6, man.
She was convicted
or whatever
of
it makes to
manslaughter
get
on the
24.
grounds that she had lost control rather than murder and was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. However, that sentence was later increased to 7.5 years by the Court of Appeal judges in London, who deemed it to be too lenient. 2018, Sarah was released after serving nearly 4 years in jail, and is
4
now
years? That ain't
campaigning
bad.
for a tightening of the rules on sex offenders being allowed to change their names.
Wait.
In an interview,
He
she
changed
said,
his name?
I did what any mother would do, because he did this to my son. My
Facts.
little boy. I never dreamt I'd be
A little bundle of joy.
no pride in it, but at least I know he can't hurt anyone else.
W mom, man.
Number 7, Maria del Carmen Garcia. June 13th, 2005. Maria was waiting for the bus in Venejutar, Spain. It was a regular day until the man who had violated her daughter unexpectedly crossed paths with her. He dared to ask her,
How's your daughter?
The anger inside
Tell me,
Garcia
boy.
was so intense
Boy,
that
he
she
would've got
couldn't
so
find the
many.
words to
Boy,
respond.
switch him down, nephew.
She decided to confront them in a way that nobody would have imagined. October 17th, 1998. Everything started when Garcia asked her daughter, Veronica, to go buy some bread. It was then that her neighbor, Antonio Cosme, approached Veronica, grabbed her by the shirt, put a knife to her neck, and forcibly took her to a nearby forest. It would be here that he would assault her. 2 years later, Antonio Cosme was sentenced to 9 years in prison. On the day he met Garcia, he decided to try his luck by going to the city, thanks to a prison permit.
to the city?
He had thought about having a drink, meeting up with friends, and then going back to the prison. However, this never happened. As Cosme walked towards a local bar, Garcia made a change of plans, redirecting toward her house. There she grabbed some matches and a plastic bottle, then headed to a nearby gas pump, filled that bottle with fuel before making her way to where Cosme was.
She set him on
Meanwhile,
fire.
at the bar, Cosme was
Had to be.
drinking
It's gotta be.
with
She about to
another
put him on
person.
fire.
When Garcia walked in, the owner of the bar sensed something was off and stood in her way. She assured him she just wanted to talk to Antonio before shoving him to the side and continuing toward him. Before anybody could react, she took out that bottle and began spraying gasoline all over his head, yelling,
So you don't forget me.
She then threw a match at him and watched as the man
Send this out of hell!
while everyone ran
Oh!
out of the bar. But was
Oh
later
my
arrested
goodness,
that
he
same
really
night.
sent this out of hell on
Antonio died
earth!
at the hospital due to the
Oh my
severity of his
goodness,
burns,
Shawty too
which affected
creative.
about 60% of his body. Due to this, Maria was sentenced in 2010
Too
to
creative.
9.5 years in prison
Yo.
in a provincial court. Several people initially criticized her actions, saying maybe she went too far. Others
I feel like the only thing that's crazy is that she did it inside the bar. Like, imagine somebody else, innocent bystander, like he flailing, you feel me? Fall on somebody else, they catch on fire, the restaurant burned down. If anything, I feel like, wait for him to catch him outside. You feel me? Catch him in the alley. But, hey man, I don't think nobody else got injured, so hey, W.
would say she's a murderer, but some saw her as a hero. The same kind of thing happens with our next parent. Number 6, Paramjit Singh. 2016. A father in India felt the law's punishment wasn't enough for the man who had harmed his daughter. So he decided to take matters into his own hands, making sure that perpetrator was truly held accountable for his crimes. Paramjit Singh, a 17-year-old, faced accusations of molesting Paramjit Singh's daughter after getting caught in the act by the child's mother.
Oh, nah.
April 19th,
Caught
2016.
by moms.
After a court hearing, Paramjit Singh publicly declared his intentions to forgive Parminder and settle the matter outside of court. However, his idea of settling was far beyond anyone's wildest imagination. Paramjit offered to drive Parminder to their village on his motorbike. Sensing no danger, Parminder agreed. However, during that journey, Paramjit abruptly stopped that bike and launched a brutal attack on him.
What he did to
After
him?
he was all black and blue, he would tie
Oh, he
him
just
to a
started punching
tree and use a machete to sever his hands.
What? I bet you he never touched anybody again. Literally, I bet you he never touched anybody again.
Paramjit quickly escaped from that scene, leaving Parminder alone by a canal, bleeding and nearly unconscious. Local residents discovered that scene and alerted the police, who rushed him to the hospital. Although the doctors managed to stabilize him, his hands couldn't be saved. The
Of
following
course
day,
not.
Paramjit
Why you
was
didn't chop his
arrested and
hands
charged
off?
with attempted murder. During questioning, he admitted to premeditating that crime, having brought a rope and a sharp weapon with him.
Yeah, he already knew what
This
he was on.
revelation sparked
What's
a
up?
fiery debate surrounding the case.
What people saying?
Supporters would argue his actions were driven by his anguish and frustration with the justice system's failure to protect his daughter.
I mean, of course they
On
were.
the other hand, critics emphasized the importance of maintaining the rule of law. Which brings us to this case, which was even a greater shock, as the perpetrator of this heinous crime, deserving punishment from an enraged parent, was a member of law enforcement.
Oh, nah.
Number 5.
Dad was
Paul
a police
Bender.
officer?
1995. The judge's order to ex-cop Robert Selman was clear. Stay away from Officer Jill Bender or go to jail for harassment. Now, her father,
harassing your
Paul Bender,
own
however,
little
wasn't
coworker?
satisfied and decided to dish out his own justice. In his younger days, Paul had served his city with distinction and had been one of Brooklyn's finest cops. Setting a great example for his children, they also joined the same profession. However, despite knowing that they were accomplished and capable of looking after themselves, Paul still worried about them, especially his daughter Jill, who was having some problems at work, and Paul knew instinctively that something was wrong. Jill finally gave in and told her father that a fellow officer named Robert Selman was stalking her. Robert Selman worked at the same office as Jill, and he developed a strong interest for her. Over time, that interest turned into this unhealthy obsession.
Uh-oh.
Despite Jill's repeated rejections,
Bro wanted it to
Selman's
look
infatuation
too bad,
only grew
man.
stronger.
What did he do?
Jill filed a complaint accusing him of harassment, sometimes hanging up,
And what did the
other
office
times
do
playing
about
music
it?
into the answering machine,
What?
and standing outside, staring into her windows.
Gang, come on, bro. Bro, come on, gang. Yo, I get it, sometimes, maybe you got you a little baddie at the job, you feel me, you want her, she don't want you. But, bro, getting caught staring into her window, bro, you getting a little insane with it, gang. Like, yo, calm it down, bro. Like, dude, like, did you pop a honey pack before work? What are you doing, gang? Like, you just staring through a window, and I imagine you probably gooning while doing this too, bro. Yo, get this officer off the streets, man.
Selman was eventually arrested on harassment charges. However, the judge released him without bail on the condition that he'd stay away from Jill. Around that same time, Selman was involved in a severe car accident, leaving him with serious injuries.
Karma.
He was granted a few weeks off of work to recover, but when that time was up, Selman refused to return. As a
Why?
result, he was fired for defying his superior's orders. So with
Why he
nothing
didn't
left
wanna
to
come
lose,
back?
Selman disregarded the court's orders and resumed harassing Jill.
Oh my goodness, yo.
At this point, Paul, Jill's father, had had enough. He decided to meet up with Selman in an attempt to reason with him. Paul went over to his apartment, but the details of their encounter remain unclear. However, it ended with Paul shooting Selman. When the police got to the scene, they discovered Selman's
What
lifeless
happened
body.
in the
He'd been
during the
shot
talk?
6 times.
Ah, nah, that's
Just
crazy.
a few blocks away, the police
Ah,
also
nah, that's
found
crazy.
Paul's lifeless body. The man had suffered massive heart failure and passed away.
Damn.
According to those who knew him,
So
Paul
damn.
Bender was a calm guy.
The dad
Someone who took
died
pride
and
in
the
his
harasser
actions
died?
and showed respect to others. So considering that he dedicated most of his life to upholding the law, the burden of taking matters into his own hands must have been overwhelming for him,
Yeah,
causing him to lose his life.
Dang, he had a heart attack at this. Damn, that's
Number
crazy.
4. Kimberly Cunningham. October 2003. After Kimberly found out that her daughter had been sexually assaulted by her uncle, Coy Hundley, nearly 5 years ago,
What?
she was compelled to do the unthinkable.
She better off
Kim
her
got
own
into her car
brother.
and drove over to the tool company where Hundley worked. She called him out into the parking lot. Kimberly was praying he would deny the assault. Instead, Hundley laughed at her. So driven by anger, Kim shot him 5 times.
Understandable crash out. Bro, I tell you, you did something that this happened to my daughter, and you get the gang. I ain't gonna lie. You should have gave him 10. Matter of fact, empty the whole clip. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You know what this remind me of, bro? I don't know if y'all seen that TikTok trend, bro, where they'll go up to somebody and they be like, "Yo, what is the most traumatic thing that'll happen to you?" And then they'll say the most traumatic thing. They be like, "Yes, yes, yes." This is what would happen if somebody had a gun on them. No, it's on a serious note, bro. Don't laugh at nobody trauma, bro. Don't.
Reloaded the weapon and fired 5 more.
Was you listening to me? Shout out, say go 10. Shout out, say, my fault, say 5 more. 5 more.
Witnesses said that after she shot him, she got back into her car and calmly drove away. 45 minutes later, she was in the Alcoa, Tennessee Police Department turning herself in.
Yeah.
August 2003, before all that happened, Kimberly had obtained a gun permit, taking lessons at a firing range. and carried a loaded gun in a black purse in her car ever since she learned that Hunley's eldest son had allegedly molested her son, Shane. After Kimberly reported that to the police, Coy Hunley, her sister's husband, threatened her. So feeling helpless and angry, she smashed the windows of Hunley's son's car. When she called Hunley at work, he told her that the vandalism made the two families even. Things calmed down for a bit after that incident, but little did Kimberly know that her daughter, Amanda, was hiding an even darker secret. Kimberly began noticing that her daughter, a straight-A student, had become lethargic and withdrawn.
Bro, no way. Is she pregnant, bro? No way. No way. How old? Did it say how old she is?
Amanda sometimes would lie on the floor outside her bedroom door, screaming and crying until her mother would let her come in and sleep with her in bed. Kimberly continued pressing, but Amanda couldn't bring herself to tell her mother everything. But one night, while Kimberly was putting Shane to bed, Amanda asked her to come into her bedroom. She said that she had something she wanted to talk about, and that's when she told her all about what Coy was doing to her. Finally, it made all sense to Kimberly. As Amanda got dressed for school, her mother slowly absorbed the enormity of what her daughter had told her. By the time Amanda did get to school, Coy lay dead in the parking lot with 4 bullets in his head and 4 more scattered throughout his body.
Boy!
In 2005, the jury acquitted Kimberly of second-degree murder, but found her guilty of voluntary manslaughter. But it was later reduced on appeal to 6 months.
Yo, W. Judge.
Number 3, Ellie Nesler.
Shout out to the judges
April
in some of
2nd,
these cases for
1993.
understanding.
Ellie confronted Daniel Mark Driver, a Christian camp employee, in the courtroom of the Jamestown Justice Court.
Camp employee.
In this intense moment, she would fire
It'd be
many
so
rounds
crazy.
at his head in Justice Court. Driver, a Christian camp employee, in the courtroom of the Jamestown Justice Court. In this intense moment, she would fire many rounds at his head and neck. Driver faced accusations of sexually abusing 5 boys, including Nesler's son, William.
5?
During that
At
trial,
the summer
it was shown
camp,
that
the
years
Christian
earlier,
camp at that.
Driver had pled guilty to multiple counts of molesting minors in the San Jose area. However, he had been placed on probation after the judge received numerous letters from members of Driver's church attesting to his character. Ellie was praised by some as a protective mother who felt compelled to take action faced with the idea of her traumatized son testifying against Driver in court. But many others criticized her for disregarding the legal system. Nevertheless, the sympathetic image of
criticize her, bro,
Nesler
you just
presented
don't
by her
understand,
defense
gang.
team began
You
to
don't get it.
crumble.
Until it
shortly
happened to
after
you,
committing
you'll
the
never
crime.
get it.
Tests would reveal Nesler was under the influence of methamphetamine at that time of the shooting.
Oh,
Additionally,
Sonny had
coming to
get
light is her
drugged up.
criminal record, having been convicted of
probably
auto
wouldn't
theft
have
at
been
the
able
age
to
of
do it
18
sober.
and serving several months in the California Youth Authority facility. Despite telling state investigators that she had contemplated killing Driver over 2 years before the shooting, Nesler pled not guilty by reason of insanity. Eventually, she was convicted on a lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter. She received a 10-year prison sentence, but her
10
conviction
years,
was
yeah.
overturned on appeal due to juror misconduct. As a result, she was released after serving only 3 years. Ellie Nesler passed away at the age of 56. And you know what? Ellie wasn't the only parent who chose to seek revenge in a courtroom.
Protect the kids.
Number
man.
2, Marianne Bachmeier. March 6th, 1981. In a German courtroom, Marianne pulled out her pistol and fired 8 rounds at Klaus Grabowski,
In the
on
court.
trial for killing.
How did she sneak a
Marianne
glicker
Bachmeier was
inside
a
the
victim of sexual
courtroom?
assault herself, and as a result, Marianne Bachmeier was a victim of sexual assault herself, and as a result, she had her first child at 16, but had to give the baby up for adoption as an infant. At 18, she became pregnant yet again, and her second child was also placed for adoption as an infant. Bachmeier was assaulted again shortly before the birth of her second child.
Yo, this is getting
But
crazy.
when she finally had her third child,
This is
Anna,
crazy.
Marianne was determined to keep her. And for some years, things were going really well for her and her daughter. She was living with Anna in West Germany and was running a pub in Lübeck. But one incident changed everything.
What
May
happened?
5th, 1980, following a heated argument with her mom, Anna decided to skip school, unknowingly setting a chain of events off that would shatter both their lives. Anna was kidnapped by Klaus Grabowski, their 35-year-old neighbor, who had a criminal record involving child molestation. Grabowski kept Anna at his home for hours before finally strangling her with some pantyhose. He then hid that body in a cardboard box and left it on the bank of a nearby canal. That same evening, Grabowski's fiancée called the cops, leading to his arrest. While he confessed to the murder, he denied any abuse towards Anna. Instead, he provided this strange and disturbing story. He said he strangled Anna because she tried to blackmail him. Grabowski claims she tried to threatening to tell her mom that he had. Grabowski claims she tried to
She tried to seduce you, so you choke her out? Does that make wait. Oh well, bro, it's confusing.
Threatening to tell her mom that he had molested her if he didn't give her money. Marianne was furious when she heard this story.
That's gotta be.
A year later, when Grabowski went on trial for the murder, she finally sought her revenge to prevent him from trying to tarnish her daughter's legacy. Witnesses said Marianne made incriminating remarks after shooting Grabowski. According to Judge Gunther Kroger, who spoke to her after she shot him in the back, she heard the grieving mother say,
"I wanted to kill him."
Marianne allegedly continued,
"He killed my daughter. I wanted to shoot him in the face, but I shot him in the back. I hope he's dead."
Two policemen also stated that they heard
crash out
Grabowski a pig after shooting him. And so, not long after,
in the
victim's mother found herself standing trial
in
for
the
murder.
courtroom.
During this trial, Marianne testified that she had dreamt of shooting Grabowski. A doctor who examined her asked for a handwriting sample, to which Marianne responded by writing,
"I did it for you, Anna."
Decorating that sample with 7 hearts, possibly symbolizing her daughter's age. Marianne later explained that she had heard Grabowski's allegations that her daughter was attempting to blackmail him. She said,
"I thought, now comes the next lie about this victim who was my child."
This incident pushed Marianne into the eye of a public storm. Her trial gained international attention due to her ruthless act of vengeance. Decades later, a friend who was featured in a documentary about the case claimed to have seen Marianne practicing shooting targets with a gun.
Oh, she was practicing her aim for you too? Oh, it was over.
The court finally found Marianne guilty of premeditated manslaughter and sentenced her to 6 years in prison. Marianne Bachmeier would be released after serving only half of that sentence.
3 years.
September 17th, 1996. Marianne passed away at the age of 46. She was laid to rest next to Anna. And number 1, Andrei Bamberski.
Number 1!
July 9th, 1982.
I gotta see why this is number 1,
Bamberski
man.
was spending what was supposed to be a happy and relaxing summer vacation with her mom and stepfather in Lindau, Germany. That evening, Kalinka was injected with cobalt ferlicet, violated, and later murdered in cold blood.
Oh my goodness!
The crime was none other than her stepfather, Dieter Kronbach, who was at the time a prestigious doctor. The autopsy conducted 2 days later couldn't establish a cause of death. Nevertheless, they did find aspirated stomach contents in her airway and lungs, undigested contents in the stomach, several injection marks, fresh blood stains around her private parts, and a whitish substance on the internal genitals. However, the substance wasn't tested, and her genitals were removed and
blow
have
him
been
up.
missing ever since.
Give him the honey
Sounds
milk
like they were trying to
treatment.
hide something. As you could imagine, the only person benefiting from this was Kronbach himself. It makes even more sense when you hear that he was actually present at the autopsy. Kronbach was only questioned once by the police, during which he admitted he injected Kalinka with a tanning compound to help her get that sun-kissed glow that she always wanted, and that he slipped her a sleeping pill that same night. It was publicized later that he had also injected her with many other substances, including a dangerous combination of dopamine and isoptin. Kalinka's biological father, Andrei Bamberski, was living in France at the time of his daughter's death. He was destroyed with this news and just couldn't believe his daughter had died of natural causes. He asked to see her autopsy report, but it took 3 months before Bamberski was sent that report. By then, the local prosecutor in the Lindau region had closed the case, and an official inquest had concluded there was no foul play involved in Kalinka's death. Bamberski pressed for another investigation. He was certain that his daughter had been assaulted and murdered, and that the authorities were letting a powerful predator walk free.
Yeah.
Additional investigations were ordered in Germany, but they led nowhere. Refusing to give up, Andre began distributing leaflets in Lindau, accusing Krombach of assaulting and murdering his daughter.
Uh-oh.
He would also hire this well-known lawyer to press for a trial against Krombach. However, the case ended when the higher regional court in Munich decided that there was insufficient evidence proving
you know what that means.
Negligently or
Sometimes, what they be saying, bro? If you want it done right, you gotta do it yourself.
intentionally caused the girl's death. Despite that, Bamberski was determined to bring Krombach down no matter what. And so he continued his quest for justice. Following intense lobbying by Andre, French forensic experts established the cobalt iron injection as the cause of Kalinka's death.
Okay.
Krombach was found guilty, but Germany refused to extradite him. The French Ministry of Law also refused to issue an international warrant. By that point, Krombach already had an eyebrow-raising history. His first wife died rather suddenly, and he was also found guilty of drugging and assaulting a female patient. Yet Krombach never saw the inside of the cell. He received a mere slap on the wrist, a suspended sentence, and a ban from practicing medicine for 2 years. All of this made Bamberski more determined than ever to miss the consequences.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You know you done something wrong, bro. When somebody gotta come kidnap you and throw you in front of the police station just cause they don't wanna what he said, extradite you back to where you was at.
2014, Andre went on trial for kidnapping and was handed a 1-year suspended jail sentence. In the end,
banger vid, man. And I ain't gonna lie, look like they got some more bangers too, man. Female inmates who forgot there were cameras in prison. What is that thumbnail, bruh? Bro, what is this thumbnail, bruh? Freaky ass thumbnail, bruh. But hey, man, if y'all want some more of these, I think it's called like something Dynasty. What is it called? I got y'all. What is it called, bro? If y'all want some more of these Crime Dynasty vids, man, let me know in the comment section below. And all that being said, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. It's your boy King Zay signing out, man. Peace!